What?
Oh, yeah, good call.
Thank you for tuning in to Diamond Realty Associates podcast, Real Estate Update. Did you know? I'm Dawn, and I'm joined today by
Amber and Aaron.
And Trace is out of town. She's out saving the world.
Oh.
So, sort of. She's down helping the Hurricane Florence relief in North Carolina. So, say a prayer for her, and she's going to do great things while she's gone.
Yes.
So,
Trace.
Yay, Trace. We just have to give a shout out to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about online real estate sites. Because there's a lot of them. And it gets to be overwhelming. So, where do we start? Our first topic is going to take a deeper look into different websites that are out there like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and Homes.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
And which ones can you trust?
Which ones do you want to trust? I think you should just call us.
Just call us.
Yeah. I think that's a smart idea. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Perfect. And then, of course, we're going to reveal where we went for Tasty Tuesday.
This one was a tough one.
Oh, but it was so delicious. I have leftovers.
Oh, I had that for lunch. It was so good.
Trace didn't eat it?
Trace
was
had
supposed to eat
my
mine.
leftovers for lunch.
Okay.
We all had leftovers.
I know, but I thought Trace would just take them all and make one big leftover.
There was an incident in the break room, so she decided not to. It's a long story.
Okay, you'll have to tell me later. Anyway, we're always getting off topic. So, what websites are you currently using, Amber? Just kidding. Which websites are you telling your clients to stay away from?
I don't know that I'm necessarily gonna tell anybody to stay away from it. But I just want them to be educated on all the different sites, the good, the bad on each site, and kind of what they're gonna find when they're there. That makes sense.
Right. Because some of those websites, what do? They sell all your information. So you automatically get contacted by every single person. And if you are on the toilet or you are laying in bed and it's 3 a.m. and you're looking for a house, you're probably going to get a call right away if you hit contact me or
those websites, that's how they stay free. They sell your information. Not going to lie, we buy that information.
Mm-hmm. On one of them.
On one of them. Yep.
Absolutely.
But we're not going to harass you. That's the difference.
I'm not calling anyone at 3 a.m.
No. Why would you be? Who's awake at 3 o'clock in the morning and wanting to call people?
Not me. Oh, not wanting to call people. I'm awake because I have to let dogs out in the middle of the night. That's about it.
Touche. So, what are the biggest 2 sites out there that we see the most commonly, Erin?
Zillow and Realtor.
Perfect.
Which one can you trust more?
I don't know. I think it's kind of a toss-up.
I feel like Realtor.com's information in general is a little bit more accurate, a little bit more updated when things sell. I do believe they have some access to our data, whereas Zillow does not. And for those of you who don't know, Zillow and Trulia are the same company now. Zillow bought Trulia, so you're going to get the same information on both of those. What is a Zestimate, ladies?
So a Zestimate is a lot of times our buyers call and say, or our sellers call and say, this is what my house is worth. And we say, no. That took 2 seconds for an algorithm to figure out. Let us do the actual details.
Yes.
You know, the funny thing is that I happened to be looking up an address because my mom was just wanting to know what her house would Zestimate it. And the house next to her sold for $500. It was like a family trust thing. So that algorithm screwed up everything, and their house is like $100,000 less than.
That's a good point. The algorithm of the Zestimate's not going to know to take out those outliers like we do.
Yeah. And I mean, that house next to her isn't the same. It's a bi-level versus hers is a rambler. And I don't know that it takes that into consideration, right?
I think it just takes in like a quarter-mile radius.
Everything that's sold or square foot, or does it divide it by square feet, Amy?
It's just not accurate. Just call us. We can do one in about 5 to 10 minutes, and ours is much more accurate with what an appraiser. We try to estimate what an appraiser is going to think your house is worth.
Yes.
Yeah. We want to get it as close to what it's actually going to sell for, so you can make some real decisions. But an estimate, which is an algorithm, you're exactly right, Erin, is very, very similar to what you get for a home estimate on Realtor.com. So these different sites are going to call it different things. When you see Zestimate or a home estimate and they give you a number like right away, that's what's happening. So just so you know, it's just a algorithm. And
ours is the comparative market analysis.
Yes.
So we take into consideration all the right information, I should say, too, and we try to compare apples to apples and not apples to tomatoes.
Yep. So if you have a Rambler, we're not going to compare the 2-story a couple doors down,
right?
Because different price per square foot.
Absolutely. Isn't that crazy though?
But Zillow is a good website. It's really good to, like you said, 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't want to bug your real estate agent. It's really good to go and look what's out there. You can look at different towns. You can
send us the link.
Yep. You can look at the pictures. Our email ones that we send out to you will be the most accurate, but we don't see for sale by owners. So Zillow is a good place to look at for sale by owners too. Should they still contact us?
Absolutely.
Yes, please do.
Can we still work with for sale by owners?
Yes. And new construction.
Yes. You can still have representation and all of that. We just have to reach out to them first. And it's important because you can get burned.
Absolutely. And I just have to give a shout out. West Fargo they sent out letters to all the homeowners about doing assessments or not
Tax.
having the assessor in your house to actually make sure that your house hasn't been remodeled or changed, and they're actually going into people's houses this year. And if they don't get into your house for that 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, they're going to assume your basement is done, or they're going to assume other things that you've improved upon and maybe you haven't. And let them in. It's going to help everybody's tax assessed value, and it's going to make it more accurate for everyone. And that's why they're doing it, is to just make sure that they have more accurate numbers to go off of. So,
well, the market's slow just a little bit, so we're not having a 6% increase like we used to. So they're probably trying to factor in. They don't want to overcharge you for taxes.
Yes.
And it's a little bit off topic, but speaking to that tax assessed value, I've had people ask me, well, if my tax assessed value is low, does that mean I'm going to have to sell my house for less? So touch a little bit on the differences there.
Oh man, where do you start?
Well, okay, Erin kind of summed it up a little bit. No, the tax assessed value is what you pay your taxes on. So actually having it lower isn't a bad thing for you. Some buyers might look at it and want to lower their offer because of it, but that's not what it's based on at all.
And that's why you get a good agent who shows their agent the market analysis. But it's nice. It's nice too if you feel like you're paying too much for taxes compared to what your house is valued at. You can contest that with the city.
You can, and again, it only takes 20 minutes, and they don't give you like an instant refund. They just rebate your next 2 years or whatever.
If you have specials, factor that in, because I thought my house was like $20,000 overpriced with what they were doing for my taxes. It was just my specials. So they roll your specials into the assessed value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good to know.
I know, and every city's different, because does Fargo do that? I'm not 100%. We live in West Fargo, but we know that. So,
and then Moorhead will be different too, and
absolutely
on and on.
Well, yeah, and again, I have to go back to, because I was checking into my mom's house, and her taxes doubled in a year, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I said, "Did you call the city? You should call somebody, because I don't know why it would go up that much." And they get the disability rate for my stepdad, but it actually doubled.
So it wasn't right? Did she get it contested?
She's doing that this week. Like, seriously, we just had this conversation
we'll
3
let
days
you
ago.
know.
To be continued.
But I said, just make a call. They'll explain it exactly why X, Y, and Z went up. But yeah, interesting.
So something else to keep in mind when you're looking online at all of these different things, you can also look up your taxes online and different assessed values for different homes you're looking at too. You can even scope into that. But coming back to Zillow and Trulia, Realtor.com, these are all pretty similar. So some of the good sides are you can kind of get your feet wet. You can see what's out there when you're just starting to look, get an idea on pricing, see photos of homes. If you click to get more information from an agent, expect a call. Just disclaimer to you guys, that's how you're going to get called. What are some of the opposite sides? What's a negative about these sites?
I think like we talked about, if you're selling, it's not an accurate portrayal of what your home is valued at. They sometimes don't have all the information on the website that we have access to, like the private remarks. Sometimes the tax assessed is not accurate on those websites.
Right.
Yeah. And some other things too is it's just not updated like our search engine is. So maybe it's sold. Maybe it's not there. It can be inaccurate. It can be behind. So contact your agent to get more information.
Yeah, because there's been a few houses that have shown up on Zillow that they sold 3 years ago and they're still sitting out there.
Yeah, I don't know what happens there. If they just the agent doesn't claim them or what.
Or if Zillow misses them somehow.
It's a glitch in the matrix.
It is.
We need Neo.
We need Morpheus.
Morpheus!
Trinity. Sure. Let's go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, that's funny.
So what are some other sites, some other online brokers we could talk about? Or other places you can
I don't know. What's Redfin?
Yeah, what is Redfin?
So
Sorry.
Coming from Colorado, Redfin was used out there a little bit more like a Zillow, but I believe it has morphed a little bit into an actual online brokerage. The first thing I found when I pulled up their website is it said, we can list your house for 1%.
Oh.
So you're going to want to look at, and we've got some talking points on the good and the bad and the ugly to that. Sure, you're paying less, but what are you getting? That's just insane. But they are an actual brokerage now. They have agents under them, not just and that's a talking point in and of itself. I mean, Berkshire Hathaway is a brokerage. Keller Williams is a brokerage. Park Company is a brokerage. Now Redfin is a brokerage. Zillow is not a brokerage. You'll see agents on there, but they're not
a broker.
An online broker. Yeah. So, and when I typed in online broker, I was surprised to find out that all of these different companies, HomeLight came up and Homes.com, just a ton of different companies came up as online brokers. But when clicking through, they were a Zillow or something like that, where you could search on there, you could find an agent on there, and some said discounted agent. But it was all agents in our market that belong to brokerages that you've heard of. It's not. So it's really a confusing time out there for the consumer. I mean, it was confusing for me, and I'm an agent.
And to find a trustworthy agent through websites like that.
Yeah.
You get what you paid for.
Yeah.
Like if you're only paying them 1%, they're doing nothing. Really.
Yeah. And let's talk about what are some of the things that some brokers offer with their listings, or, and how would they be able to afford that if that's what they're...
Right. I mean, 1% on, let's say, a $200,000 house is $2,000. So you can spend $200 for photos. You can spend $200 to $400 to clean it if needed. Marketing. I mean, you can spend a couple $100. I mean, you're really not.
Absolutely.
Plus, half of it goes to the broker practically. So they're really not making much money.
Well, and on top of that, half of it the first half goes to the buyer's agent.
Right.
So how are you going to pay them? So now you're offering a buyer's agent $1,000 instead of like $4,000. You're only taking in $1,000, and you've just kicked out well over half. Like, your paycheck's already gone. How are you supposed to actually market that home?
So they're going to do the bare minimum if you're paying them the bare minimum. You think you're getting a screaming deal, but you're not.
They're just going to turn and burn. They're not all about helping you get the best. They're just about turning the number.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that too, if they do take it for 1% and they're offering a 0.5% co-op or however that might work, why would the selling agent, no one should ever do that, but are you going to brag up the house next door a little bit more? Should you? No. But are you? Who knows? I mean, that's
absolutely
a very gray area for a broker who, I don't know. So
it's questionable because we just don't know about it.
Well, and online brokers are tough too, because maybe the agents aren't getting the proper training because everything is online, or they don't have a broker in house. We go to our broker almost every day with problems, issues, questions, and we trust because they've been in the business a long time.
Absolutely.
And we're better because of our broker. Like, there's no way we would pay so much money to have our broker, and you get the benefits of that, and you don't have that.
Yeah, because I can imagine like an online broker, you'd probably end up like in a chat, and
Yeah.
everything gets lost in capital letters or exclamation points or
sure.
whatever kind of emojis you want to put in there. But really, it does.
There's just the quality's not there.
Yeah.
And I think actually having conversations about things that actually happen in the market, you learn more than versus just asking a question and having to read the answer back. You don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
For sure.
So I think
discussion.
Yeah, I think in some, just finding a quality agent who is advocating for you, who uses a legitimate multiple listing service, and isn't selling your information. So you find that one agent, you stick with them, and then they do all the work for you.
Mm-hmm. And they should be doing that work for you. That's what you're paying for, their expertise. If they don't know, there is no way in this industry that we can know everything. It changes constantly. And there's so much. A good agent is going to go digging and find out the information for you.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like a private investigator.
Dawn Chadwick, PI.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
For sure.
That could be letters behind your name.
PI.
Yeah.
Magnum.
Magnum.
I'm sorry.
Did you know that's coming back on?
Mustaches.
Well, yeah. No,
Okay.
Magnum PI. They're remaking it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
But I digress.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ladies, any other topics on or good key points, things to be aware of, stay away from, know more so about any of these online sites? Really, it's not just the brokerages.
I think as a seller, be careful if someone's calling you to say, I have a buyer in mind, and you're on Zillow, or if you're trying for sale by owner, because that is a scam. Agents are not allowed to do that. They may be a legitimate agent, but it is unethical. So if they can't show a buyer, report them.
Please do report it if it is that situation. Also check with them, because I've sent out letters for buyers that I really have. I've had people think that it's a scam and it's not. And I've had hard conversations with them about that too. But
we can't be contacting you as a for sale by owner unless we legitimately
have a buyer. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And dear agents out there, if you're doing that, naughty. Shame.
Naughty.
Change
Naughty.
your methods.
Change your ways.
Okay. Any other comments?
No, I think there's good and bad in using Zillow, obviously, but definitely find an agent that you can trust, like us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they work well in conjunction. Yeah?
No?
Yeah.
Maybe?
No. Well, I said my wrap up.
Oh,
Just find someone you trust.
done.
And
Okay.
trust somebody you find. And if you
trust
don't,
the person you find.
and if you don't trust them, you
Fire
can fire them. Even
Touche.
if you have them sign a contract for a year, that does not mean you cannot get out.
Yes. And don't let them say that you can't cancel it, because you can.
Mm-hmm.
Call their boss.
You shouldn't be stuck working with somebody you don't want to work with, and vice versa. If you don't want to work with us, we don't want to hold you to that. That's crazy.
Absolutely not.
So,
Anyway.
Tasty Tuesday.
Oh, Tasty Tuesday. I'm so going for my leftovers after this. I had dessert first, though, so I'm okay.
Where were we?
India
Palace.
Palace.
Which has
It was
amazing
so-
reviews.
Oh my god,
And
it was so good.
Did not disappoint.
It did not.
our server was amazing.
He was amazing.
Yep, he's the son of the owner.
Mm-hmm.
The owner has been in the U.S. He said stateside. Has been stateside for 30 years. He's been in the restaurant business that whole time, and then he opened up his own place 6 years ago.
And if you go to India Place, ask for Harpal, and then you should probably try that amazing dessert he was talking about, because after he said that, I was like, dang, we should
Why
try
didn't we
dessert.
But he was very good, very energetic, and he says he's running for Senate in
20 years.
20 years. Vote for Hathaway.
For
20 years.
It's funny. But definitely check that place out, and he's going to give you great suggestions on what to try if you've never had Indian food.
Yep. And good old my buddy Chaz got the golden ticket.
Good job, Chuck.
Good job, Chuck.
So you better listen to this, Charles, because I'm your friend. You're supposed to be supporting me, and then you get your gift certificate.
Oh, and guess what happens then? He probably has to take you to lunch.
Yes, he will. He probably owes me from when we worked together 5 years ago.
Absolutely. All right.
Okay.
tell.
Well, what are we gonna do next week? We're gonna
continue this
We're gonna
mini-series.
We're gonna continue this
mini-series,
mini-series.
going a little bit deeper into those online sites, a little bit deeper into realtor versus real
Nice.
estate agent, etc.
Absolutely.
So, what should they know about us as a team? And why
We
we're
rock.
awesome?
We rock.
We'll have a buyers and booze coming up in
End of October.
October. We're looking forward to that. We're a great team here at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Premier Properties, and we're here to educate our clients and help them start to finish. We're not going to hand you off. You're going to be with us, unless you don't want to be with us, but you should be with us because we're cool.
And if you want to see our kooky videos, posts, find us on Instagram or Facebook, Diamond Realty Associates. We also have a website, buysellfmhomes.com. And as always,
Stay classy,
FM.